So what brings you out to our event here today?
I'm here to celebrate the kids and show the film that I directed that was written by the kids and just enjoy this beautiful program and this organization.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about the film that you directed?
The film that I directed stars a young lady named Mary Sanchez who has come through the program. It was written by the kids and it's almost like Memento. It's got like this really interesting twist in the plot that you probably wouldn't expect. They did an excellent job with the film, so I'm really excited to see the way the audience responds to the kids' imagination.
That's wonderful. And what drew you to Kids in the Spotlight in the first place?
I just think it's an incredible cause, and for me, growing up in the inner city and at that age range where my life could have went either way, it was the arts that I felt like helped me stay on the right path. And so to be a part of the program that could potentially do the same thing for kids at the same age range as me and similar type of scenarios that I grew up in kind of touched my heart. I feel like it was something I was supposed to be a part of.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're going to need you to slate for the camera. Would you do that, please?
Mo McRae.
Would you slate for the camera first, please?
Davion Thompson.
And what brings you to the event here today?
I actually participated in the event when it first showcased. I was one of the first foster youth to participate in it. So I like to come out every year and just show support.
That's great. So how many years have you been involved with Kids?
I think since 5 years maybe. I think the first film festival was in 2010. I've been coming out every year since then.
That's really great. And how have you seen the organization and the films grown in that time period?
I guess it gets better every year, the quality, the amount of people that's coming to show support. So even the creativity, I guess since they've been doing it for a while, they got the hang of it. So you can see the growth from the kids and, Taiji and Tife and everyone on the team.
A part of today's event, correct?
I am. I'm going to be up on stage tonight presenting with my TV mom, Julie Bowen. We're going to be bringing out the first 2 films of the night, and I'm really excited for that.
Wonderful. Now, I'm sure your TV dad, Ty Burrell, let you know what was going on with Kids in the Spotlight, but you have a lot of involvement outside of this. So you are a youth ambassador for the Sierra Club. So what drew you to Kids?
I've always had kind of a soft spot for working with kids, I guess, because I am a kid. And so everything I do, whether it's with the Sierra Club, it's all youth focused, trying to empower youth to get involved, to find things they're passionate about. So when Ty told me about Kids in the Spotlight, I'm like, this is awesome. It's a great organization. It's empowering kids from foster homes and who are underserved in society to get inspired by making films and, hopefully seek careers in the entertainment industry. And I'm like, I can get behind that. I can get behind, I love what acting's done for me as a youth. And I think that I can do a lot of things for other young kids. So
that's really great. And any advice for these young filmmakers and auteurs who are about to enter this business that you're so much a part of right now?
Ooh, good question. It's crazy because I've got like 10 years of knowledge. I could talk for like hours about stuff. I would say don't ever give up. The entertainment industry is amazing. It's something I'm really passionate about. And if they're passionate about it, just don't stop. Keep going for it. And if you love it, keep fighting for it. Because, it can be a little crazy from time to time, but if it's something you're passionate about, it's totally worth it.
Thanks so much. Hi, this is Kelsey Scott for Kids in the Spotlight, and I am here with Rico and Rainey Rodriguez, and they are here for the Kids in the Spotlight ceremony. So what does today mean to you?
Giving back, celebrating kids' brilliance and their excellency.
And to watch some great films made by kids for kids.
Yes, exactly, in the spotlight.
Wonderful. Now, Rainey, you just directed an episode. So you're kind of in the club with these kids right now. What kind of advice can you give them having just made your directorial debut?
Oh my gosh. I mean, to be honest, they're like way ahead of me. No, I mean, you know what? Just go for it. For real. I mean, I think that's sort of the biggest thing as an actor going into directing. It was an interesting choice because I've grown up in front of the camera. So then to be able to learn from all of my peers behind the camera and then sort of take over that role is pretty exciting. So I would say learn as much as you can. Every workshop you guys attend here, every single person you meet, learn from them, absorb all of their information, and then apply it to yourself, find your own techniques, and then just go for it.
That sounds wonderful. Now, Rico, you got involved in acting because Rainey was doing it. The family moved here for Rainey's career, and then you got excited. So I want in on this. And then you've actually done this, too. You've done some red carpet correspondence for the Academy Awards and for the Kids' Choice Awards. So first of all, how are we doing?
You're doing great, wonderful, yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. No, it's been an honor. I mean, for one, when I was younger, I was really shy, and so for me to make that leap into acting is kind of like a shocker because me being shy, I would only hide. I would just hide behind my mom's leg and talk to nobody. So now that I've broke out of my shell, and now I'm the person I am today. Because every day I wanted to. This is what I wanted to do, and to be able to do correspondent work and to act on Modern Family is amazing.
That's great. Okay, so we got the behind the scenes advice from Rainey. So for someone who was shy and has now come out of his shell and is absolutely burgeoning, then what advice would you give to these kids?
I would say go for it with your all. I mean, you've already got the hardest part out of the way of being shy, so now you just go for it and go for it all.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here today. Hi, Burrell. You are hosting for the second time this year, and we're very, very excited to have you. So tell me, why is Kids in the Spotlight important?
Well, for a lot of reasons. I guess if we're really starting from scratch, my dad spent the bulk of his life working in the foster care system. He was a caseworker, and I had a day in, day out experience with what that life is like and how tough that can be. And my dad died fairly young. He died in 1989. But in those 20 some odd years that he worked in the foster care system, he really became very passionate about trying to be a part of the solution. He was one of the first people. Caseworkers get a little bit of a bad rap sometimes, They're people who have to make a very tough decision sometimes, but he was one of the first people to really dig into substance abuse, at least in Oregon, where I'm from, and try to fix people's home lives, really, to try to keep the in and out of the foster care system. But that's sort of beside the point. So I've always had a sense for what it costs to be a foster kid. I'm also an adoptive parent. That's a big part of it. But then meeting Taiji and Tamisha and T-Fay and all of the T's involved in Kids in the Spotlight, I got really swept up in what a beautiful idea that Taiji had, and how how perfect of an idea it is, perfect of an organization it is. It helps these kids in so many ways. It's helping them in a very obviously deep emotional way to be able to tell your story. And for humans who don't often, young humans who don't often get heard, for them to have a place to, even if it's not them wanting to tell something very personal, even if it's just to tell a fun story, but just for them to have a place where they can be heard, I think that's enough right there, right? Just a place for their voice to be heard. But in addition to that, it's got all of these other great ramifications for their lives. This is a very practical thing for any person to go through the process of starting a huge project like this and having to see it through all the way to the end is a big deal for anybody, let alone, that's a great learning process. And then I think there's other things to it too, that some of these kids fall in love with acting, or some of these kids fall in love with writing, or some of these kids fall in love with camera work, or sound, or, there's an actual vocational side to it. So I just, it's just a great organization that I really love. Even I feel honored every time I get to be around it. And I'm also just thrilled by the growing, it's growing. And I'm thrilled by the amount of people who are also excited by the idea. I wasn't here from the beginning. I was somebody who just heard it and was like, this is amazing, and jumped on. And there are lots more people who are feeling the same way. More directors, but also just more resources, more people who have cameras, more people who, And I think really in the end, Taiji could speak to this probably better than I can, but her vision really is for this to grow and be able to be a thing that can be in group homes around the country. And I really think it can be. there are lots of people in other cities that have these skills that can be mentors for, or can pitch in. You know, there are camera people in Baltimore, there are camera people in Portland, there are directors in Austin, and you know, there are people everywhere, and this could grow. And we think this is the last year we're going to show all the films at the gala. Next year, really, the idea would be for it to be on YouTube. You know, all of them to be on YouTube. Allow people to vote on them. And then this is, which is what it already is, but this is really purely just a celebration of them, and everybody's gotten a chance to see them, their film online. And this can be just, you know, really an award ceremony and a pure party. So I think that's where we're headed.
That's wonderful. Now, an event like this and an organization like this, as you said, takes lots of people, takes lots of resources, takes volunteers, it takes a lot of money. So for anyone who is now becoming aware of Kids in the Spotlight, becoming aware of this event, but they're on the fence about whether or not they should get involved, what might you say to them?
Well, I would say that the foster care system, if you look at the percentage of people in the prison system and people, you know, issues about what happens to foster kids out of foster care, the foster care system is one of the places where you can have the most impact on our society. If you are helping kids in the foster care system, you have an opportunity to make a huge difference in the world, because kids, the foster care system has issues, and a lot of kids, you know, I think, and I know from personal experience that people are doing their best, but kids have struggle coming out of foster care system, and this is part of the solution. This is part of giving kids resources to generate self-esteem, to have a sense of identity, and to also just feel like they can do things in general, to be able to finish a project. And it doesn't require much on your part. I mean, to, you know, whoever may be watching. If it's financial, it does. You know, they're making films for $2,500, so that's an entire film. We made 9 this year. So whatever might be in your pocket is plenty, or, you know, or give more. But this is an organization that is an opportunity to give time or money, and that's a great thing. If you're watching this and you happen to be living in another town, you know, and somewhere where you feel like this is something that you could be a part of, please reach out to kidsinthespotlight.org. Your time is just as valuable as your money, and you know, as this grows, we absolutely are going to need the resources, but we're also going to need people, you know, pitching in.
Thank you so much for being here and for your support.
My pleasure.
So if I can get each of your names.
My name is Ajay Jones.
My name is African Kosi. Elizabeth Solis.
So welcome to the program today. And do you have a film in today's festival? Tell us about the film.
The film is called The Other Side, and it's about a person with a split personality, and a side's telling him to kill people and to not. Yeah.
So what role did each of you play in the production?
We wrote the script.
And how?
We were the filmmakers, kind of. We were the producers. So, yeah.
So what was the toughest lesson you learned as a filmmaker?
Maybe it was that most of your ideas wouldn't get like valued sometimes, or like you would bring up an idea and it wouldn't necessarily catch their eye, but somebody else would bring it up and they would like accept it. So pretty much just writing the script was really a challenge, because sometimes the ideas wouldn't flow the same way. So it was just kind of hard.
And what did you learn about the process of collaboration? Because film is definitely a collaborative art.
Well, we learned that in order to make a movie that actually worked, we would actually all have to work together and get our ideas across. So, you know, to make a movie that.
That's wonderful. Anything else that you want to say? This is actually the in-house media for Kids in the Spotlight, so you could be talking to future kids in the program or people that might give to the organization or be a part of it. Anything that you want to say?
I think that it's like a good experience to be in this program because like also for future careers, like it helps a lot with your experience in story writing and what it's like to be on a set. And it also helps with like processing other people's ideas along with interpreting your own into the script. So it's just an all-around really good experience.
That's good. Congratulations to the three of you. Can't wait to see your film today. This is Kelsey Scott, and I am here for Kids in the Spotlight with Aisha Hines. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kelsey.
Oh, absolutely. Love to have you here. Now, I understand that your interest in the performing arts began at LaGuardia High School, the performing arts. So could you talk about the importance of nurturing skills and passion for the arts at a young age?
You know, ironically, I was born and bred in Flatbush, Brooklyn, East Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I was absolutely rough around the edges. I fell into the lap of LaGuardia High School. I was incredibly disruptive in junior high school, and one of my after-school tap instructors, she guided me towards LaGuardia High School, basically seeing that there was something, there was an outlet that I needed that was much larger than the tap shoes that she provided for me to tap in, and she guided me in the direction of LaGuardia High School. And I was sharing with somebody the other day, you know, I kind of looked at my experience at LaGuardia as an outlet, you know, it's free therapy, if you will, because it was a place where I could escape everything and, you know, sort of the rougher life that was, you know, that I had experienced in Brooklyn, and I could just sort of live in other characters and tell stories and even, you know, tell my own stories through the medium of the arts. And so it was a space that I didn't even really understand about the craft so much as a place that, as you said, nurtured something that needed to be nurtured. It wasn't until I went to college that I really learned about, you know, the vocabulary of the arts and the craft and monologues and scene study and that kind of thing. And so I think it's incredibly important for young people to have a space to explore the gamut of their creativity.
Can you talk about the importance of Kids in the Spotlight?
The importance of Kids in the Spotlight is to make a difference in the lives of kids who have gone through much more than any kid should have had to experience, I guess, in a sense. We are literally changing lives and experiencing and witnessing moments of healing for kids in the foster care system. And that's what it's all about, just giving them their voice to tell their stories their way and to celebrate them in a big way like today.
That's wonderful. And this type of organization takes a lot of support, takes a lot of volunteers, also takes a lot of income. For people who are on the fence about whether or not to get involved, what would you say to them?
Get involved. There's nothing to be on the fence about. If you want to be a part of a change, making a difference, this is it. Look around. This is it. So I would encourage you, please get involved. Our kids need you. It takes a village. It takes a village.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.